Go ahead and talk in your mic. Let me check you out.
Test 1 2 1 2.
Try again.
Mic check. Mic check.
Okay. Junior.
1 2 1 2.
Oh yeah.
1 2.
What's up? Happy birthday, Junior.
Oh yeah.
Test. Okay.
Earth strong.
Yeah,
Right.
Earth strong. Oh yeah. Earth strong. You should get the Jamaica.
I told you I learned Jamaican happy birthday for it.
That's what
I
we
told
said
them I
today.
said I learned how to say happy birthday in Jamaica. They said, what is this? I said, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Our Earth strong. Earth
Yeah.
strong is what we said most.
Isn't there another one? Let's see what Google says.
In Jamaican for happy birthday. What's
Bada day. Bada day.
Oh, bada day. I've never heard that Google lie.
It's it says less common. So I didn't know which side of Jamaica you were from. This doesn't say west side of Jamaica or east side, so I don't know. It also says happy birthday with a Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
All right, I'll choose that one.
We'll just say happy birthday.
Yeah.
All right. Let's.
Happy
Let me
birthday.
get my glasses on so I can see the camera.
No birth, no TH.
Birthday.
Yeah, Burke, almost like a K.
Okay.
Birthday. All right. We're ready to get started.
Ready?
Ready to go. It's recording.
All right, welcome back to Kingdom Chat. I want all my fans out there to know that I'm back. The last podcast, Caleb said, we are 2 Jamaican, and no, we can't find one. So I want to make sure that I'm opening tonight for all my fans, all right? So we just want to get that clear. But anyway, we love you guys. We love the podcast. My homeboy Roy and Caleb, as usual. They have to do without me the last time, So yeah.
Junior was fighting the other day for the spot.
Yeah, but we love being here. Love to encourage you guys, and I hope you are ready. Fasten your seatbelt. We're gonna have a great night tonight. I have my homeboy Matt with us. Great transforming life testimony you're gonna hear about, and this is not just like a cliche. This is the real deal right here, and I can say that because I've watched him grown over the years at BTB. Yeah. He's going to share his testimony. I just want to give a little introduction so that you would know that, this is a man that God has taken from out of the world that has been struggling, going through multiple stuff. Watched him grow over the years at BTB, come to love the Lord, come to find purpose. And here is his life with a purpose and sharing his testimony tonight. He's going to break that down. And so, one of the first things we're gonna ask is, just share what your life was before you met Christ, and then we're gonna go into share what your life was. How did you transform that in BTB, and what God is doing going forward? But we're gonna break it down and ask it in pieces. So just share your testimony, just to start off, so that people would know what were your life like before.
Okay. Well, first, thank you guys for having me here.
Yeah.
This is a blessing to be here.
It's an honor to have you.
Especially with 3 guys that I've looked up to through my walk. All 3 of you guys have been people that I look up to and try to, look at your walk and kind of learn from that, right? Because I know you guys have been through it too. So, but yeah, man. So, born and raised in McMinnville, Tennessee.
I'm sorry.
I know, right? Yeah.
No, I love McMinnville.
Yeah.
Well, we've had a few nicknames. We're the nursery. We're the nursery capital of the world, but we're also.
That's not what I was thinking.
So
they grow things there. Don't
they do. They definitely grow things there, and there's a lot of cooking.
It really is the nursery capital of the world. And I didn't think, somebody told me that, I was like, okay, whatever.
No,
but it's real.
Yeah, we grow a lot of trees, but like you said, we grow other stuff too. Yeah.
They make all kinds of things.
Non-smokable trees.
But small town. I grew up. I kind of had 2. I like to tell people that I had 2 different childhoods. So my biological parents. My dad was an addict, an alcoholic. My mom suffered from bipolar, undiagnosed. Looking back now, we kind of know what it was, but then we didn't know. We just there was a lot of ups and downs. So so as a child, I remember seeing the chaos of what addiction could cause in a household. My dad was a musician, so there was always parties going on in our house, always random people coming in and out. So even though I saw the chaos, I also saw people having a great time. I see people enjoying themselves, laughing, just having a great time. So I remember not only did I see the chaos during the week, I didn't know they were related, right? I just thought there was an issue within our personal household that didn't have any relation to the alcoholism and the addiction. Obviously didn't realize that till later on in life. So as a kid, I kind of never really knew what my worth was. A lot of times my parents would be fighting, and I would think it'd be over me, something I had done. Not knowing that it was over the bills not being paid because money had been spent on drugs and alcohol. So being around that at a young age, I'd say my first taste of alcohol was at like 6 or 7.
Goodness.
First time trying marijuana was around 8 or 9, and my first line of methamphetamine was around 14. All of those were done with my biological parents. So it was one of those things where, man, I seen the destruction of it. And I remember thinking, even before I knew what a generational curse was, that I didn't want to be that. And so I don't want to get ahead of my story, but later on I became exactly that. Yeah. So luckily I had some godly grandparents that stepped in when I was. They officially adopted me when I was 9, but I had already started. I remember back when payphones were around. I would find change in the couch, and I'd go to this payphone and call them, hey, they're fighting again, will you come get me? So I remember being witness to suicidal situations, knockout, drag-out fights, just pretty much anything that could go wrong in a household like that. I was a witness of it at a young age. But luckily, my grandparents got me out of that environment. And by doing so, I pretty much thrived during my teenage years. Yes, I would still use and drink here and there. It was very sociable, but I was excelled in class, excelled in sports. And then I got into a church, very active in the youth group. And just really, man, just like I said, it was 2 childhoods, man. They pulled me out of that, and then I had the ideal childhood, never needed or wanted for anything. They put me in an environment where I could excel in the things that and pretty much I had my identity in that, though, at that time.
Wow, yeah.
My identity was, they pulled me out of this, so I felt like I had something, I owed them something.
Yeah.
So therefore I excelled in anything that I got into. Grew up on a farm, learned good work ethic from my grandfather. So that was pretty much my childhood, was pretty much they pulled me out of that. Got through high school, went to college, and I do tell people that I kind of left that lifestyle of being in the youth group and having my church friends. I left that at home when I went to college in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And that's when the partying really started. Had no accountability, had no mentors in my life. Pretty much I had the taste of what God could give me at the time, and it really wasn't. I also tell people the church I grew up in, it was kind of a checklist church, right? So it wasn't any true discipleship. I didn't even know what discipleship was. Nothing against the ones that were in my life. They were definitely, God had them in my life for a reason at that time, but it just wasn't really any type of growth. Pretty much, just treat people well, don't cuss, don't fight, you know what I mean? And make sure you're at church and you were good. So there was never really any type of spiritual growth at that time. So yeah, that was pretty much how my childhood was. And then get to college, excelled. I got a corporate job, excelled in it, traveled to different countries.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Dude,
I got to go to the Philippines, Canada, Korea.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was a high functioning addict for many years.
Did you have a degree?
I didn't. So actually I was going to college for physical therapy to start off with. Biology in college I was like, this ain't for me. Biology's hard in college. It's totally different than high school biology. So I went into marketing. I got a job with T-Mobile, and they were like, hey, we'll do tuition reimbursement. But what they do that, but then the job, I became salary, so I was pretty much on call all the time. Like my job took over my life to where there was no time for school. So I ended up dropping out. I worked with them for about 10 years, man, high functioning addict. Pretty much introduced to opiates during that time. Actually, when I was in college, I was going to be a walk-on football, and they found a tumor in my right foot. So so they cut that out. And that's when my doctor was my first drug dealer, pretty much.
Yep.
Because I had done social.
So many of those stories.
It is, man. Yeah. And it's one of those things where they just didn't want to truly diagnose an issue. They just threw this at you, which a lot of them get kickbacks because of it, right? And so I was in that time frame of where pretty much let's just throw some Percocets at you and call it a day. And so pretty much high functioning, working in a call center environment too. There's a lot of any type of customer service industry that I found. There's a lot of drug use.
Really?
When you're dealing with the public,
high strung, high
you're
energy.
getting yelled at constantly. I've worked in support IT for years.
Yes.
no, people are calling you. They're already unhappy.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And that was just a one way to, because a lot of people that I worked with there were also like in the restaurant business and stuff like that. And so that's when I really realized that pretty much everybody I worked with used something after work to decompress and then just kind of deal with like the constant, like you said, just the customers coming at you. They're not calling because they're just happy that their bill is this price.
Hey, how are you doing?
That their phone's working great, so they just want to call you and thank you for the service that you give them. So and even whenever I moved up to like a manager role, and that's the only calls I would take were escalations, right? So I pretty much dealt with that all day. So yeah, man. So it really kind of, I learned how to live a double life, right? During that time where the family didn't know anything was wrong. The job didn't know anything was wrong. And then it got to that point to where that threshold of being a high functioning addict to, okay, you got to have this when you get up in the morning. You know, you've got to have it to get throughout the day. And then you start, you know, people learn, they can see your behaviors, right? And your routines. And so when that switches up to where not only is he just leaving at lunch, but now he's leaving at every break. And, you know, and so sooner or later that came up. And that was one of the reasons that I lost that job. I was dealing drugs on site.
I feel like at some point, it's for me especially, it switched from a reactive habit to an operating habit. There's just some moment where getting relief after work or after tasks was no longer good enough, and it was like I look forward to it so much that I wouldn't wait anymore.
Yes, that's exactly it, man. And it, like I said, I really can't pinpoint where that threshold was crossed. I just know it was. You know, and so once I went from making really good money at that job to losing it, that's when really my addiction started showing light. You know, that's when I started breaking the law by selling to support my habit, you know, stealing from people around me, pretty much just the lowest of the low. And whenever you're in that situation too, it's usually the ones that are closest to you, because you have that trust with them at the time, right? So they allow you to get close enough. And when they do, I betrayed every one of them. And that was one thing looking back, the enemy loved to use that against me, man. That guilt and that shame that comes with it. Even after God pulled me up out of that, it was still something that he would love to use, because I held myself to a higher standard. So whenever I started acting that way, that's when I knew, I was like, man, this has really got a hold of me. But it still wasn't enough for me to stop, man. So it went on for about 20 years, led into methamphetamines. I moved back to Mint from Chattanooga, and that's whenever that happened. Of course, it's a cheaper fix, and it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere, especially down here in the South. So it's one of those things that, man, I thought opiates was bad, but once that gets a hold of you, man, it's a whole nother game. So I struggled with that, in and out of jail, multiple DUIs, multiple overdoses there at the end as well. With fentanyl being, I would buy like Xanax or something like that, and it would be laced with fentanyl.
So you never knew there was fentanyl in it?
No.
So I have never known anybody who knowingly purchased fentanyl, and I know that happens, but when I was running around like that, that wasn't a thing. You know? Yeah, it came out of nowhere, man. And whenever I first started taking them, and from this one guy, like I knew they had a little extra punch, but I didn't know, exactly what was going on. I didn't know what was causing. You know what makes me wonder? It's like, what is a deal? Because why am I going to put extra product on something and not get extra pay for it? It's like it's an inconvenience to do that almost, and so it just doesn't make sense. Are you trying to kill somebody, or what would be the purpose of lacing a pill with fentanyl? Maybe make it stretch longer, or
I think because the pill itself is completely fake, so there's no actual ingredients that are of the actual pill you're buying, and the fentanyl is so cheap
you can thin it out.
They can put that in not only pain medication,
just takes micro doses of it to give you the high,
right?
So a bag of that can really be stretched far with a bunch of placebo tablets, and that's the problem, is that these people are not rocket scientists here measuring this stuff. It's real easy for them to give you too much, or you think you're taking 2 Xanax, but you're taking 2 fentanyl pills.
Exactly.
You can overdose very quickly.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and you're always gonna go back to that dude that give you that high and that kick.
Yeah.
Like, I want his one. So that's one of the catch too.
And it's scary, man, because like we were talking about, like it's in everything. So not only was it just in like benzos, so it was also in opiates. Making fake pain medication. I've heard that they're also lacing marijuana with it these days.
Yeah, I heard that too.
The carts that the kids, like I've heard like young ages. I know I started at a young age too, but even then it was like you knew what you were getting because it was a different form. Unfortunately,
now there's people that's their first use and they die.
Yeah,
because they got an overdose of fentanyl.
It's sad. It's sad, and it's all over greed, right? It's all over greed. Yeah. It's all over greed, man. So yeah, man. So I struggled with that in and out of incarceration. That's probably when the family really started noticing, obviously, that okay, he's got an issue. That was one thing that I was always being a high functioning addict. Unless you're just out there acting crazy, you're not going to be seen by the law, especially in a big city like Chattanooga. Once I moved back to McMinnville and was still having that same type of lifestyle, you stick out obviously a little bit more. So in and out of jail, and during that time, man, I always, even since I was young, I knew there was a God, but I didn't know Him. You know what I mean? I knew of Him, but I didn't know Him, and that's what was missing. My identity was always in my job, in relationships that I was in. But it was never in Him. So when those things were taken away, I was right back to square one. Just didn't know who it was.
Yeah. So let me ask this real question real quick. So while you were in it, there's any like thought in the back of your head that, hey, I want to get out? I know you haven't mentioned that part. There was thoughts at time that, hey, I need to get out of this. Like look back at your career, like you're traveling, you have a high-end job and stuff. You ever look back and say, man, I want to get out. I want a way out to stop this thing. I know that addiction, like for me when I was in it, like I just couldn't stop. Like the only time when I stopped is when I became a Christian, and that was it for me. You know, but until that day, I always wanted to, but never could. So was their thoughts and stuff?
Yeah. So as they say, sin like that takes you, as I say, further than you want to go and keeps you longer than you want to stay, right? And so that was the same thing for me. So they say it's fun for a season, right? And I tell people my season did last a lot longer because financially I could afford the lifestyle that I was living, right? So during that time, I never had one thought that I wanted to. I enjoyed it. And it was whenever I could no longer financially support it the legal way, and I was having to do everything illegal to support it. That's whenever I felt like my conscience would come up like, what are you doing?
And you lie to yourself and convince yourself that you can handle this.
Yes.
You don't realize you're being handled.
Exactly right.
You think you're handling it is handling you.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yeah, where it goes from you doing the drug's doing you now. Pretty much that threshold there. So yeah, man, after I lost that job, I moved back home. Man, there was numerous nights of me just being just completely broken because I knew, because once the high would wear off, reality sets in. The issues that you had before you got high are still there. Now they're worse, right? And so it was definitely numerous nights of me knowing, because like I said, it wasn't that part of my childhood that wasn't so great. Yeah, it was awful, and I had to go through that, but my grandparents instilled in me good morals, good values. Like, this is how you do life, follow God and everything else be added unto you, right? And so like they taught me those things, but it was almost like I had just a short-term memory issue, right? Because I would get high, forget it, was having fun in the moment, but then it would set in as soon as that high went away. It was like, oh man, here I am again. And then you get high to forget that, right? So it was just like a never-ending vicious cycle of just trying to numb. And there was numerous nights where I'm like, you know what, this is my life. This is where I'm going to end up. My family's going to read an obituary one day. And what is that going to say? And it broke my heart, man. It broke me. But it took incarceration before that brokenness was really enough for me to hit my knees. And I would say that was probably this last time that I was incarcerated. I had multiple felony charges. And I finally just hit my knees. And I was like, God, I'm done. Like, whatever you want me to do, that's what I'll do. And when I said that in that jail cell, normally there's like 3 or 4 in one cell, but I just happened to be in that cell by myself that first night, and man, just the weight that was lifted off of me. Like, I felt him come in that prison cell or that jail cell, and man, the weight that was lifted off of me, and he was like, if you're truly surrendering, let's do this, right? And so and I'll never forget, like, I love how he talks to me, and numbers, signs, people. He has a great way of communicating in different things. And so as soon as that happened, the next day I had a window on my cell, which is kind of like a luxury suite. Like, most of them don't have windows. And I remember looking out, and a billboard changed, and it was those truth billboards that you see around. and it said evidence of God ? And I was like, I see you, Lord. So that was.
He loves you so much. He put a billboard outside the window.
Come on. No, like I looked at that. I was like, that's just for me. Thank you, Lord. You know what I mean? Like,
you just so happen to be alone when you need to talk to the Lord.
Yes.
You just so happen to look out when the sign changed. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's whenever the thought of coincidences completely left my mind. There's no more coincidences.
Yeah.
There's no more, putting things on different situations whenever God's in control.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he's such a good father. He knows how to communicate to each one of us. Because the way he communicates me may be a little different. The way he's going to communicate Junior may be a little different, whatever. Because he knows us as individuals. It's an individual relationship with him that he knows how to communicate with each one of us.
Yes.
And if you're a young Christian, you don't hear from the Lord, don't despair. But keep listening. Right?
Yes.
Because he wants to communicate with us, right? Now you say, you hear a voice and all that sometimes, but not always. Usually it's because he wants me to do stuff I don't want to do, or wants me to quit stuff I don't want to quit. But I've had times where the Lord has spoke to me and told me, you need to go talk to this person.
Yeah.
You need to pray for this person. I mean, I know it. It's just as clear as we're talking here that I know what the Lord wants from me. But in first, I didn't know it was from the Lord, and then I kind of resisted it. But like you're saying, he knows how to communicate with each one of us. If you're listening, you're willing to listen, that's where you got.
Yes.
You surrendered. You surrender, you can hear him.
Absolutely.
He's a small, still voice. He don't scream. He's God. He don't have to scream.
Exactly. And he knew, like you said, it's personal to each person, right? And so that relationship is, he knew that he had to sit me down in jail for me to hear that.
Yeah.
I filled my life with so many distractions. I was the one that very codependent in a lot of my mess. So let me focus on your issues and help you with yours. Yeah. Even though I can't fix mine, but I'm gonna tell you how to fix yours. You know what I mean? That was a big part of my story. Is so he knew exactly what needed to happen. Because like I said, those overdoses, there were times that, he kept me alive for a reason. And at that time, I didn't know that's what it was. It was a coincidence. Somebody had Narcan there at a local. They wasn't even at a trap house, just at a regular house. They just happened to have Narcan at that one time. Another time, the guy that was with me had warrants, and he was the type he didn't like getting arrested, right? But he happened to stay with me that time to make sure the ambulance got there. Wow. Different situations where I'm looking back. After being, my relationship getting closer with him, I can see all the moving parts that he was doing, right? During the time we go back to, it's just a coincidence, what I mean? Yeah. Right? That's what just the enemy. So happened. That's what the enemy wants us to think.
Don't want to give God the glory.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
I remember one time Josh Cantrell was going through Lakewood, and he said, I want to stop and check on Chris. And he
just goes like that.
He decided to go walk over to Chris's house. The van was parked down the street. He walks over to the house. He wasn't headed to his house. That wasn't why they were there. And he was dead on the floor. And then he calls cops. They get there with the Narcan. When of course, the first thing Chris says is, "I don't want to go to jail." But unfortunately, that's the thing is that it wasn't just an accident that he was there. It's just not an accident. This guy was there to help you, and he's going to be the one that's willing to stay with you. Because we both know you can get hit with Narcan, and a few minutes later lapse back down again, need another hit. So it was the Lord. Lord was watching that. He knew he was drawing you.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And like you were saying too, it's a wonderful feeling too whenever you do grow closer with him and become more in tune with the Spirit when you start hearing that voice. And like you said, nowadays I'm very obedient to that voice because just the other day I was grabbing something at Pizza Hut, and a lady walked in, and I went back out to the car, and he's like, "No, you need to go pray with that lady." And so I went and prayed with her. She broke down, she was having a horrible day. The Lord's blessed me financially here recently with the lawn care business at BTB, so I was able to bless her.
Award-winning lawn care business.
Hey, let's go. That's right. And so I was able to bless her with her meal that night, and that's just looking back, that's something that, and I was so selfish for so many years. You know what I mean? It's my money. I earned it. I'm going to spend it like I want to.
But how good did it feel to buy her?
Oh my gosh!
See, the Bible tells us that it's better to give than to receive.
Yes.
And you don't know it till you do it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And when you do it, you're like, you're right. This felt good.
So it felt so good. And
I heard somebody told me, said, "Oh, you just do it because feel good." I said, "What's wrong with feel good if you ain't breaking the law?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I said, if I ain't stealing, cheating, I help somebody. shouldn't you feel good about that?
Right.
You know, I said, now,
you should feel good.
Sometimes you feel good breaking the law, doing wrong. I said, when you're doing right and I feel good about that, and you think I shouldn't?
Well, just feeling good about it is a byproduct.
Absolutely.
It's a byproduct,
yeah. Because it's the intention of the heart, man.
It is.
Yeah. You know,
well, you want to please the Father,
absolutely.
and that's why it feels good.
Absolutely. And I remember getting back in the car, and all I could say was, "Thank you, Jesus," for like the next 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Like, thank you for putting me in that woman's path. Like,
he could have sent anybody to talk to her.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that today, which I can kind of back up. So I finished my time that last incarceration, and I was going to be able to go back out on the street, you know, get a job, and probably end up back there in a year. You know, because I was looking at some.
That was your plan.
Yeah, I mean, I knew over the last 6 years. Well, I guess over the last 10 years, I'd been incarcerated pretty much 6 years of it. Pretty much a life sentence in 6 month increments is what it was, right? Like, so I would get out, do good for a little bit, violate my probation, I end up right back in. So I knew that was going to be, so being conscious of that, well, while I was in jail, so I started reading the Word, right? That was a big thing. Started having my own revelation. You know, pretty much knowing that this isn't just a book anymore. This is a roadmap, and I really need to dive in this thing. Luckily, there's programs now in Warren County Jail. Used to not be a thing there. So a lot of the pastors that would come in and minister to us, they also had like Celebrate Recovery classes. You know, programs to where you're not just sitting in there. A lot of times you leave jail knowing more how to break the law than you did when you went in. You know what I mean? That was normally the conversations that were had. Now they're changing that dynamic of putting, you know, not just a recovery label on it, but just a God label on it of like, you know, this is how you break this stuff off. He's the one that does it.
Well, that's the purpose of jail. It's supposed to make you not want to come back and make you be a more law-abiding citizen, that you would be a productive member of society, and that you wouldn't do that.
That's exactly
That's how it needs to be.
It is. Because even in my situation, it became I was comfortable there. Yeah. And that's a scary place to be.
That's awful.
Scary. Very, very scary. Like, pretty much, like, you know what, I know I'm doing wrong, but if I get caught, so what? It's going to be okay. I probably need to lay down for a little bit, you know? And just having that mindset, man, it's just such a helpless and hopeless mindset to have.
And speaking of that, you know, if you're addicted and then you spend some time in jail, sometimes you can still get drugs. But even if you don't and you get clean, you're not addicted to it physically anymore, but you still go right back to it.
That's exactly it. It's a mental oppression almost. Yeah. Because there's a lot of healing that has to happen, you know, with that. And just quitting the drug, that's just the first part. A lot of people say it's the hardest. That wasn't the hardest for me. No. It's everything that goes along with it, all the trauma that, you know, going back to what the trauma was.
I think so many people miss that in like drug rehab programs, because like Be the Bush is not just about that. It's not talking about just stop drugs. It's talking about a lifetime change, a lifestyle change, a path change of following Christ and putting Him first, so that then you're not drawn back to that, because that you know, each one of us is drawn away by our own lust. So what makes you want to sin is not going to be the same thing as what makes Junior want to sin. You know, the things that draw you are different. Satan's always going to try to use that same thing against you if it still has a hold on you.
That's exactly it. I've dealt with that even after becoming a Christian.
Absolutely.
So you know, I mean, that's whenever people say it gets easier, then a lot of times it gets harder.
No, because it sends more forces against you.
Absolutely.
You're battling two different things now. You're battling to balance your life while you're battling to keep the enemy out of your life.
Yes.
Well, you're fighting your own flesh, and you're fighting the enemy who wants to feed the flesh. So
and that's a constant.
It's hard.
It is. It's very hard.
I haven't touched a drop of alcohol since I was 24. I'm 58 now. I'll be almost 59, and I still desire it. I asked Pastor JT, I said, do you still think about it? He said, every stinking day. I said, man, I'm glad you said that, because people tell me, well, if you're still tempted by it, you're not saved. I'm like, I know I'm saved. You ain't gonna save, kill me on that. But I know that it's still a draw for me, even though I haven't touched it. It's still a temptation for me. So I can't allow myself into situations where that would be possible, because I don't want to falter. You know, my dad told me probably the best advice ever, and I love my dad, but he wasn't always like a good advice giver. And one of the things he told me that just absolutely stayed with me, he said, son, it's not the last drink that gets you, it's the first one.
That's so true.
And I think that's true with alcohol or any type of drug. It's not the sixth hit that gets you, it's the first one. The first one's got you right back into that lifestyle. And so I always look at that first one as the enemy. I can't have the first one because I'll have the sixth one again. Just to touch it again, I'll be back in that same walk that I was heading down to. So
that's it. It starts with a small compromise, right? It's in every area of your life. Like it starts with a small compromise. Sooner or later, that's going to lead into either a full relapse in this situation or just any type of life controlling issue that you have. It's going to. Whenever you let that first one happen, like you said, it doesn't get better. If anything, it compounds on top of that, right? And just gets worse. So. But yeah, man, so I went to BTB. Yeah. So luckily I had, and this is how God works as well, so I'd already got accepted to a halfway house. You know, they're a lot different than the discipleship program that I went to. And a guy came in my cell about 2 weeks before I was getting out, and he came from that halfway house, and he was telling me about all the drug use that was going on. He said, this is not the place for you, and I prayed about that night. And Be the Bush just kept reoccurring in my thoughts. Awesome. Be the Bush. And,
so that was right after you dropped to your knees and prayed. That was the same. Okay.
Yeah. So I did about almost a year. So I was in about 2 months whenever I dropped to my knees and fully surrendered. So that let me So I started getting into the programs that they had there. Started up like a prayer call in our pod. Okay. You know, doing Bible studies. You know. Things where I used to make fun of those guys. Yeah. You know, they would find jailhouse Jesus, right? Like, you're all about Jesus when you're in here, but as soon as you hit that door, you're right back, right? And I was that guy. So I became that guy in there, right? So everybody would give me a hard time. But we did have a nice little gathering there, man. And so he used me in that way while I was in there. I actually just got my local minister's license a few weeks ago, where I'll be going into Franklin County Jail.
That's awesome.
So it's such a full circle moment that's redemption. It is, man. Hopefully at some moment I'd like to get back to Warren County Jail and minister there. But I know he'll open that door when it needs to be open. But yeah, man. So pretty much 7 months of that sentence, that's whenever I was living for him inside. You know, that's where I was. That's where he had me. So I was going to make sure that I stayed obedient. You know, it was one of those things where at first you would get made fun of for being that guy in the pod too. Then you got people stopping at your cell like, hey brother, you care to pray with me over about this, pray with me about that. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, come on in here, let's do this. So you know, that's whenever I first saw like, okay, this is what it looks like to be when you fully surrender and be obedient. This is how he can use you. You know, and during that process you start realizing what your worth is, right? You start realizing this is my true identity. I'm going to be more than just an addict or an alcoholic the rest of my life. Like that's the old me. This is the new me. So when I got out, I had heard about this place through some pastors that came in, and everybody said it was the hardest program. They don't let you smoke cigarettes. You know, they don't even let you start working and making money until 8 months. That program. I do too. I knew whenever everybody was like, "This is the hardest one. You don't want to go there." I knew that's where I needed to go.
That's one of the best program I think anyone that struggles with addiction can ever have.
Absolutely.
Because they remove everything from you.
That's it.
And if they're gonna give you, if you're gonna go to a place, you are an addiction, you're an addict, whatever it may be, but you're going to a place and they let you smoke another type of addiction, nicotine and stuff. Then narrow it down and make it become small. It's defeating the purpose because you're gonna go right back out there.
I can go and lock you in my closet for 3 months and get you sober.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I'm not pouring into you and uncovering those layers of things that you've put on and dealing with the issues that drove you to that thing, nobody just wakes up and decides they're going to be a drug addict.
Exactly.
It happens over a period of time, and it happens. It's behavior based. It's based on family dynamic. There's so many things that can lead someone to that place.
That's it.
And if we just get sober and don't deal with that, because how many people do you know that got sober, went back to the same area where all their mess was in and went right back in it? They never dealt with their issues. They never dealt with the people around them that were bad influences. Getting sober is not the hard thing. It's staying sober and renewing your mind.
Right.
Because I really start to, and I hurt some feelings with this, but I really start to doubt that people are a new creation if you continue to go back to your old habits. If that man is dead, he's dead. Leave him in the grave. Become a new creation by the renewing of your mind. Being renewed constantly, not got renewed once. Renewing. It's a present tense. That's I'm doing this, and I'm constantly making an effort to do that. But if we don't deal with the trauma, the hurt, the things that caused us to get there, we're going to end up right back where we were, as just like you talked about.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man.
And you know, will keep us comfortably in our comfort zone. You can do this, and it's be okay. It's not a great sin. you know, and you stay right there, living in your addiction, but it's a smaller addiction that doesn't look that big. So people vape, and they find the right thing to vape on. The nicotine, they do the nicotine patches, they do the dip, they do the cigarette, they do all those stuff, and they say, oh, I'm not doing the heavy stuff, I'm good, and they go to church, and they do all of those things, and they are accepted, and they are good. But the thing is, the enemy decided that, you know what, I can't keep you in a cell, so I'm going to open the cell, but I'm going to keep a leash on you. Yeah, and I'm going to let you think you're running free, but you're really not.
You're still in bondage, right? You're still a slave to something.
And like Caleb just mentioned too, is that sometimes you can't go back to the same friends.
No,
that's it.
Sometimes you get they're a bad influence. I had to give up when I quit drinking. I could not go back and hang out. I liked some of them guys a lot. Maybe more than they like me. I don't know, but I really liked a lot of them a lot. A lot of who I am today was because of the things I hung around. I had some good people that I hung out with in the National Guard, where I started drinking. Good men, and they poured into my life, changed my life. But I could not go and hang with them anymore because it was taking me down that path of alcohol. They weren't even having problems with alcohol, but I got to the point where I had to have it every day, or I would start to get the shakes. I never got drunk and didn't work my job or anything like that, so I was very functional, but I was still very addicted.
To have it.
I had to have it, and so I was still addicted, and then I pictured myself becoming like my dad was, where he was an abusive alcoholic. We didn't have any kids yet, and I thought, man, I don't.
Well, you knew what that was like.
I knew what that was like. I don't want to put my kids through that. It scared me to death. And that's when the Lord says, when are you going to quit?
Well, you talked about getting away from old people, but sometimes you can't even go back to the same place.
Yeah, no.
Like if it hadn't been for my wife, if I hadn't met her when I did, there's no way I'd still be in Manchester right now. There's no way. I was so done with the same cycles. There's no way. I had already had a plan to move and leave and start over somewhere, because I knew I couldn't come back here and do this again.
Yeah. It took me a while to be able to be strong enough to even go back home and visit family.
Right. But there's wisdom in taking that time.
There is. Because the enemy wants you to think like, oh, I've got this. That's exactly, because he knows that pride and that ego gets in play, then it's a slippery slope. So I knew it took a while, and that's one thing I loved about the program too, is that it eases you back into that, right? So the first few months, people can come see you one day a month, your family, and visit, but you're not doing offsite visits for a while.
Still a good controlled environment.
It is. It absolutely is. The accountability there is just something that still to this day, I still live on site as a staff member now, but I never take for granted the accountability that I have there. Not only just the ones that I can go to about something, but the ones that they keep you in check. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing to have in your life.
It is.
No matter if you're working for a ministry or not, it's just a good thing to have those people in your life that's going to hold you accountable with what you got going on. Because when you're in your mess, that's one thing you don't want, right? You want the yes men. You want the ones like, you got the drugs they want, so they're going to say yes to anything. You're doing great. Like, this is that. But at the end of the day, I needed somebody to look me in the eyes and be like, listen, bro, like, what are you doing?
You need people in your life that are going to tell you what's right, whether it benefits them or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know Junior was talking about comfort, right? Like, that was a big thing for me. It's just, I want to be comfortable. Now that I'm on this side of things, it's when I'm uncomfortable is when the truth growth happens, right? Like, that's whenever I'm really learning.
Isn't that funny how that's just completely opposite?
It is, because that's the worldly view, right? Let's just make yourself comfortable and you'll be happy. You may be content in what you're doing, but you're never truly going to be able to have the full, have the life that God wants you to have by just sitting there being content, bro. Yeah, absolutely, very temporary.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you talk about just living there on campus. At BTB, because that's something I tell all the guys, and when I go there and I teach and I share, I call it re-entry, because sometimes persons leave the program and they go right back into the world, and sometimes I think that for those who have families and kids and you got to work, you got to do stuff with it, I understand that, but if you don't have to, if you can, because BTB, one of the things I like about them, they create an atmosphere for you. So they create jobs. So so you can still support your family, and you can take your little time, go back into the world, because when the program is finished with you, you shouldn't be finished with the program. And let me explain it another way. The program, you finish your 12 months, you can be gone. You're going back out into a crazy world. But what BTB does, it allows you to live under accountability. You can go whenever you want to go, but once you're coming back, there are certain rules and stuff just the same. Yeah. So you have accountability. So you can't go back and drink and smoke and do anything and come back. That's a no-no. But you are free to go. And so you learn to re-enter the world. You learn to discipline yourself. You see the world in a small portion. All right? You can't stay out because you got job assignment. You got students that you got to attend to. And you also have students and stuff that you have to minister to. You got to, like for you take them to the ministry, you take them to the business. So you can't do stuff around them because you're a senior, you graduated, you are now directing them, you know, and that's what I like about it. And so that in itself help persons to, and for most of the person, probably 95% of those who stayed back and take their little time and go back out into the world eventually leave the program and become better. And even though some that left right away, they still do good, but for most part some kind of struggle a little bit, and they are still doing good just the same. But I think it's the best way when you're coming to a program like that, rather than let the world just hit you like that.
Yeah, well, and then like your position, like being a leader and being over these guys and demonstrating, it keeps you accountable in a way that you're representing not only the business side, not only the ministry side, but you're representing the gospel. And so these guys are going to go through this, and how can they learn and listen and sit under this and not see you do the same thing?
Exactly. Right.
In the same way that me as a free man, knowing that I'm a board member, knowing that I'm a worship leader, it makes me think before I do and before I speak, because I'm not just representing my family, I'm representing my church family and the kingdom of God. And so people are looking to see, they're waiting to see if I'm going to mess up. And so it's so important to your witness that if you're not living out and speaking what you're saying and what you're doing, if you don't have works behind your faith is dead and it's pointless. The word says, can goodness, what's the tree? Can an olive tree, can it produce grapes or whatever? No. Can a spring water flow salt? No, it can't. So out of your mouth, your heart speaks. And so if you're not living the example in front of these men and leading them, then what are they going to this program for? That's exactly it. And the program's doing what jail should have been doing all the time. That's right. It's isolating these men, getting most of the worldly things away so they can really focus on changing and healing and being and just being instead of doing. That's it. Because a lot, even people that aren't in a rehab or a program like that, you see new Christians all the time who get radically changed, have an encounter with the Lord, and they got to do. I just want to do. Yeah. We got to learn how to be. Amen.
Yeah, and it's so important. The Christian aspect of it cannot be in any way thought less. It's so important because if we could do these things on our own, we wouldn't need God. That's true. You know, my son's handicapped and he uses crutches, and I had this guy at work that he didn't believe in God, and he said, and I used my son against him. He said, yeah, you got that crutch Jesus you believe in. I said, what's wrong with crutches? My son's got crutches. I said, when people need crutches, what's wrong with them? He was like, and I did we call that playing the handicap card. You know, make you feel bad. and I just did that sarcasm. I said, listen, I need crutches. And I need Jesus. Maybe you're perfect and you don't, but I need them. And there's nothing wrong with my Jesus. Yes. I said, how come I never witnessed this guy? I didn't work with him. He worked second shift, I worked third. I said, I've never once said anything to you about going to church. I never once said anything to you about Jesus. You just know I'm a Christian. You decide to come attack me and say you're better than me because I need crutches. You know, I'm a Jesus. I said, but you know what? I've never attacked you, Brian. Why are you attacking me? And he didn't know what to say. You know, and I said, but there's nothing wrong because whether you realize or not, Brian, you need crutches too. I said, and Jesus may be my crutch, but that's because I can't stand on my own. I need Him. And I said, and I'm sorry that offends you.
Oh, yeah. I love catching them like that. They'll say, I got one at work, they'll say, oh, my God. I say, he's my God, too.
That's so good. I like that. That's good. Like
so tell us, Matt, what is life like now for you? Okay. Like we hear about your bringing up on how you get into all of these addiction stuff, how God brought you out. But I know that you are doing well because we see each other all the time. But but for those who are listening, what is life now spiritually and how that is going, and what is it that you're looking forward to the future? Is there ministry? Is there stuff that you're going into? Just share a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So since graduation, I've, like I said, stayed on the staff at BTB. I've been entrusted with the lawn care, which is a pretty one of the major money contributors to the ministry that really keeps us afloat. Since we're not state funded, we really rely on those obviously people that pour into us financially, but also the businesses that we run there. So I definitely take that very seriously. And like you said, taking these guys out, it's not just work for us. It's since I'm not there teaching class like I was back in the winter. I pour into them on job sites. We do our own devotions on the way to jobs. Constantly just kind to pour into them, as well as a lot of the places that we mow is kind of lower income areas. So we have God opens up doors on a daily basis for us to pray with people. It's not something unusual from I see my group gathered around somebody praying with them on one of our sites, and that just, man, you're talking about warming your heart, man, and just like knowing that not only, and it's like you said earlier, like this is not just something they know to do, they've seen it done, right? So whenever they see our leaders and see, because that's something I always try to do is just pray with somebody, even if we're in Nashville, you know what I mean? If I got something to eat, the people on the corner, right, will stop and, hey, can I pray with you real quick, and give them something to eat, just little stuff like that I'm only doing it because I'm following Christ. I know he calls me to do that, but he's using that way beyond my thought of showing these guys this is how it's done. So just being able to minister to them, pour into them is a great blessing. I'm a member of Estill Springs Nazarene Church, and so I going to be doing jail ministry with them. So that's something that God's opened up that door here recently. Also help with there's a life recovery group. Yeah,
that's Pastor Tim, right?
It is Pastor Tim, yeah. Tim Parsons, a great guy. Yes, he just started coming out to the ministry last Friday, so he's coming to do devos out at BTB now, so that's cool. Awesome. That's pretty cool. I'm just a great man of God, man, and he just, there was something about him. I have family that go there. My cousin's actually the executive pastor and the music minister there. But that was one thing, like I felt like it was home, but I kept praying into it and I kept pushing against it because I didn't want to go just because my family was there. Like go back to the comfort thing, right? I didn't want to just be comfortable there because I knew somebody. But God kept laying on my heart like, this is where I want you to be. And sure enough, I've been a member 4 months and he's already opened up me helping with the jail ministry there, so like it's confirmation. Okay, good. I heard it right, because that voice sounds the same sometimes, y'all. Right? Like the voice, it's the same. It's the same voice, but you have to test it, right?
Well, that's what he said. You got to try the spirits because Satan comes as an angel of light, and so you have to try the spirits, and that's such an important part because the one of the ways you can try the spirit is he'll never go against his word. If it goes against the word, it ain't him.
That's it. That's it.
Number one. Number two, if you feel, I need to be doing this, and something in your heart says that ain't it, you need to be listening.
That's it.
Test the spirit.
That's it.
It's so important. I see so many people I've heard. I don't want to name things, and I don't want to make people feel bad, but they've said, the Lord's called me to do this or that, and then that ministry failed. Well, the Lord wasn't in that. So you heard it wrong, and you need to make sure you hear it right.
Well, I always tell my kids is, you know how to tell what's a lie? They're like, what? I said, know the truth.
Come on, that's it.
It's so easy, right?
It's
easy. We make it so complicated.
We do. We absolutely do. Because the enemy likes to tweak it just enough, right? Because there's something I've learned, like, not every good thing's a God thing.
Right.
That's been key in my walk so far.
No, that's true.
So true.
Like just because there might be something good come of it, that might not be what he laid in your lap, right? That might be you just trying to control the situation. Anybody that comes from an addict background, that's what we like to do. We like to control things. And so you have to be careful when you're in your spiritual walk of just knowing what that looks like. That just because this might benefit this area, that might not be for you. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Because I know when I graduated, I wanted to do everything. You know what I mean? I wanted to do all the outreach. I've got this fire in me, and I don't want to go out. And then God's like, I've got things for you. It's not everything. You know what I mean? Like, don't think that you're going to have to do everything to serve His kingdom. I have your purpose and your calling already mapped out for you. just stay obedient. I'll let you know when you need to do.
Yeah, and not everybody who's been redeemed is meant to start a ministry.
That's exactly right.
Sometimes you just need to serve in somebody else's ministry.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, that's the best way for you to learn what gifts you have.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the only way to know is to try and to give yourself to the Lord, have a yes in your heart, and if it works, you'll know it. Mm-hmm. If it's not working, you'll know it.
Right. If there's no peace in it, it's not from Him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, He's not a God of confusion.
Yes, exactly. He says he's not a God of confusion, but of a sound mind.
Yes. And the best thing is to serve. And if you learn to serve well, you will learn to lead well. And the greatest exemplar of that is Jesus. He first served, even though he comes
if you cannot surrender to somebody else, how in the world are you going to be surrendered to the Lord?
Yes.
And
every man has authority.
Every man has authority.
Because the world loves to put that thought, right? Like, if you surrender, you're weak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The world has everything.
And yet, surrendering is one of the hardest things you can do.
That's exactly it.
Well, in the kingdom, it only means freedom.
But that's right. And that's what's so crazy about Christianity is because you surrender to Christ, you become free.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to say that. But I am more free now because you're always going to be a slave to somebody. You're either going to be a slave to sin or you're going to be a slave to Christ. But you're going to always serve somebody. And you can keep telling, no, I'm in charge. No, you're not. Your sin's in charge.
Exactly.
Your pride's in charge. The drugs are in charge. Something else has to come in charge of you, or Jesus can be in charge of you.
Yeah, I look at my life as the parable of talents. And everything that I have, every single thing that I own, everything I've ever done is God's.
Absolutely.
I am only a steward of it.
Yes.
That's every dollar that I make is His. He made it because He made me. And so, Lord, I just pray that I manage your money well, Lord. I pray that I use this for your glory. Everything that I pay, everything that I come up with is not my decision. It's His. Yeah. I want to be known as a faithful one who doubled the blessing that I was given, not for my glory, but for His. And so when you look at your life as, I'm just a steward of this life. I'm just a steward of this vessel, and I hadn't been too good to it for a while. But when you look at it like that, it changes the way you are. It changes the way you give. Like I was never a giver. I was tight clenched on everything I had. Now I'm lucky if I got $100 left at the end of the week because I just give money. I give stuff away. I want to take care of people. I want to do things. It's the God in you. It's the spirit man in you that does that. And that's one thing that I recognized about you immediately. I am not directly involved with the program. I was at the very beginning when it started, but life did not lead me that way. God did not call me that way. I learned that I don't have to be in every ministry. I don't have to do all those things. And so I set boundaries for myself on outreach and ministry opportunities and all those things. I have to take care of my family. But, man, we've seen a lot of guys come and go. I've seen so many come and go, and it's almost in the same passage as the road to heaven is narrow and few find it, and the road to graduation at BTB is narrow and few find it. But the ones that do are faithful, and like I said, there's not a whole lot that have made it. But and so because of that, like, it's hard for me to get to know some of the guys because I don't know when I'm going to see them again. Right. You know, the next time they come around the church, or the next time I get to see them, it's a whole new group of people. But I start to remember faces, and I remember you going through the program, and there's just something different about you. There's something different, and I never thought that you weren't going to make it. I never thought that, and I remember praying that. And I kind of feel guilty even saying this. Like I don't pray for those boys individually because I don't really know them. But I remember praying, and I said, Lord, I think he's got a good future ahead of him. I think he's going to make it. And several other guys. And I got to know you through outreach, through working in Lakewood and seeing you more often and getting to see who you really are. Not just you're just in the program, but seeing you as an individual. And the spirit that you carry, it's one of a kind. And you do carry a peace about you. And I think it's one of your greatest, because especially when you're a bigger guy, until you open your mouth, they don't know what you're going to be like. You know what I mean? It can be intimidating, but you carry such a welcoming, peaceful spirit that makes people want to know about you. They want to know about Him because of you. And so I'm so proud of you, and for making it through the program, not just making it, but like, bro, you're doing it. You're walking the walk. Yeah. And so many people talk it. We've seen so many people talk it.
Oh, yes, sir.
So many people talk it. But just want to let you know I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I appreciate that a lot, man. That means a lot. That means a lot.
Yeah, even for Lakewood, like, bro, it's a lifestyle for you to go there every single time. Like, you hardly miss an opportunity to go there. Like, I don't go there every 2 weeks, but when I do go, you are always there. So I'm like, oh, you fill all them gaps, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a servant
He's
heart
dependable.
to give back. And I mean, I know you don't have to go.
Right.
You know, it's not a thing that you have to do, but I see that you want to do it because you get to do it.
Absolutely.
And to give back. You know, and so that's a blessing to know that your heart is first to serve as well.
Absolutely.
And I see that with BTB as well, because it's still to serve, because it's not like it's paying you this huge amount of money, but the benefit to serve and watch others grow up and be mentored. Like, man, you have an amazing opportunity to do devotion with them guys.
Yeah.
You're basically teaching a class without being in a class them in a class.
Yeah.
You know, you're teaching them the way to go. You are allowing them to see the word and understand the word. And, you know, I just want to encourage you to keep on that path.
Well, he is the walking result of seek first the kingdom.
Yes.
And all these things will be added.
Amen. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, a living testimony is always usually the best one anyway. Because if they see what you really like when you're working and you're still acting like Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
And also a big change too has been like, so I've had I've failed since I've been even at BTB as a staff member. I've made mistakes, but the difference is instead of just trying to keep those hidden, I was transparent about them.
That's the key.
I even shared it with the guys, even though that was situations that didn't have to be shared. I wanted them to see that, like, even though you're walking this life, like, you're still going to stumble. Lust was a major issue for me most of my life. Like, I was a womanizer. That was part of my mess. And I had to struggle with it even after surrendering, even after graduating the program. And it was something where, the enemy wanted to just nail me down, like, look at you, you're in this role of leadership, and look what you're doing. And look, I just kept praying, and God was like, you know what, you repent, I forgive you. So I just did a full repentance. And for me, that looks like sharing it with the ones that I'm shepherding right now, right? Like, I want you to know that you're going to make mistakes, but this is how we handle mistakes now. We don't just bury them and try to forget about them. Like, we repent, turn away from them, and move forward. You know, so that was one thing I always try to stress to the guys, because they do hold you up on a pedestal because you finish this program that they're in. From the outside, you're doing great. Which
you're the goal, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. so I mean, I am doing great, but I still want them to know that, like, life is still happening. There's still issues that I deal with on a daily basis that I have to crucify my flesh daily. And there's days where I don't do a great job of that. And that's when these things can creep in. So I want them to learn from my mistakes, but also know that you have to give yourself a break sometimes. You hold yourself to a standard. Don't be so hard on yourself where there can't be growth and healing.
That's good, man.
That's true, man.
That's how you prevent shame from taking over.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you walk through those things so that you can help people as well. Because I remember even being in YWAM. Now I'm leading team out to different nations and stuff like that, and you know, it come to the part where it's not like a lust thing for me or falling in adultery, I think, but you know, I had a huge problem with porn, and it came right back. You know, after almost 10 years of not even thinking about porn, it just, I remember you, bro, come here. You know, and that I had to be transparent with that. And I realized that, and it was I just like, you know, I'm not going to deal with this, and I work it out. God just work it out, and he helps me through it. It wasn't a long process as well, because it wasn't there, but it came back and it haunted me. And I looked at, oh man, I'm failing. I got wife, I got kids, I'm leading ministry, I'm entrusting with these kids that come from all over the world, and some are teenagers and stuff like that. And, you know, God dealt with that, and I look back, even recently, you know, this young man is struggling, and for some reason he called me. He doesn't go to a church, he doesn't live in Manchester, he doesn't even live in Coffee County, but we met serving in different ministry, and he called me, and you know, he's going through so much, And man, I could walk into and I'm like, hey bro, let me tell you this, man, we are all human beings, because when I was leading this ministry, this happened and that happened, and you don't have to stay there. And it helped me to reach a young man that really needed help, because that's one of the things that hit men a lot, you know, and to know and sometimes, and even to share with different young men as well. I'm like, God, did you allow that to come back? That wasn't even in my mind, that to came back to knock me like that and to expose me like that, where I have to be transparent. And now I'm using that in so many different ways to really minister to young men. So sometimes God will use that. And when people see your vulnerability in being transparent, let me tell you something, if they're going to trust anybody, it's going to be you.
When you are transparent and you're telling the truth and you're speaking those things out, there's two things. Number one, iron sharpens iron. It gives the next brother the courage to say the thing out loud that's holding them bondage. Because if you don't, it creates a bondage and a stronghold in your life where you're embarrassed to speak that truth. And the second thing it does is John 8:31-32 says, Jesus said to the people who believed in him, you are truly my disciples if you remain faithful to my teachings. And how do we be faithful to our teachings? We love one another love our neighbor as ourselves, love the Lord our God with all our hearts, all our mind, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
That's good. Come on.
Those two important things that you get from that. And when the enemy doesn't want that, because he don't want you free, and he darn sure doesn't want you to sharpen no other iron, because a dull blade doesn't cut.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
Let's go.
So I know it's pretty close, but I know we're probably going to cut off now, but is there anything else that's on your heart that you want to say to someone that's listening, knowing where you have been, knowing where God is taking you? Is there anything?
Yeah, man, just that I've been there. Like, I've been in that hopeless state of mind, that addiction and the enemy wants you to be in. Just completely and utterly broken. There is somebody that can pull you out of that. That's Jesus. There's somebody that can put you back together. You just have to surrender. It was the hardest thing, because even though you're in your mess, your pride's still there, because there's times where things were going okay, and you like to remember those times, right? It's all lies from the enemy. All of it's lies from the enemy. Just surrender to him, and he will, like somebody said earlier, seek first the kingdom of righteousness, kingdom of the Lord, and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. And it's 100% the truth. I stay obedient to him. I've never needed or wanted for anything since. I try to be a good steward of what he blesses me with. And man, I know a peace and a freedom I've never known before.
Come on.
So just know that you don't have to stay in that mindset. Yes, it's available to everyone. The price has already been paid. The price has already been paid.
Amen.
So, yeah.
Amen.
All right, Junior, you ready?
Hold on.
Yes,
how are we going to go this whole episode and not even mention it's Junior's birthday?
He was born.
He is born. Happy birthday to our bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. And shout out to Raquel, who always listen to the program. Tomorrow is hers too, birthday.
I forgot y'all back.
Wow. The Lord loves me, man. I can't miss the anniversary because it's Valentine's Day, and I can't miss the birthdays right after. So he knows that I forget things. So he's like, you know what? I won't put you in trouble, buddy. I won't put you in trouble.
That's great.
Got you all lined up.
That's so Junior.
All right, you ready with the Jamaican?
Me charge you, frazzle out them sitting here, the enemy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Interpret that.
Yeah, man. I thought about it when he was coming on the program, because I know where he has been.
Say it again.
Me charge you, frazzle out them sitting here, the enemy. And you know, if I said frazzling out them sinting, so frazzle meaning that you're dusting it out, you're killing it, you're basically destroying it. That's a Jamaican word you say, yo, me frazzle him out, you know. And so what I mean by that is that he is continuing to step on the enemy and moving forward and getting better.
Come on.
So yeah, the things of the enemy, he's just dealing with it, just destroying it. Because I know where you have been. I've watched you grow over the program, and I've watched your heart, and so I know that you are moving forward. So so you're definitely crushing the enemy, and I know it's all not there as yet, and it's nothing to brag about, but it's something to give God thanks for, because we do overcame by your testimony.
Amen.
And so you continue to walk rightly before God and continue to allow him to use you. So yeah, right. Charge you, frazzle him out.
Bring us out, Junior.
All right, man. Thank you again, guys, for listening. And definitely, man, we share it with a friend. You know, this has been one program tonight that really should reach a lot of people. So remember to like, subscribe, and remember to share. We love you guys. Thank you for watching Kingdom Chat. My boy Matt, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
My own boy Caleb and Roy, that we always have a heart to do something like this, man. Always been keeping it going. So blessings to you guys. Peace out.
Peace.
Boom.